Welcome to the WealthGenius podcast, brought to you by the Expand Wealth Real Estate Fund. Expand your wealth by investing in apartment buildings. Go to expandwealthfund.com to book your info session. The WealthGenius podcast, strategies for multifamily real estate investing, mindset, community, success. The WealthGenius podcast with your host, the godfather of real estate, Alfonso Cuadra, who has expansive experience in business and massive success as a real estate investor. The WealthGenius podcast. Let's dive into today's episode.
We are rolling.
All right.
I'm here with my good friend, and we met in Dallas.
We did.
And you came and spoke at one of our events, and I was like, wow, she's gonna be around,
Thank you.
We did try to get you the last time.
I know.
But
I think I was already booked.
So many things,
I know. I'm already booking out June now.
Wow.
So
June.
It's crazy.
Get on it.
It's crazy how fast my calendar just fills up. And, whenever I meet people, I'm like, of course I'll come and speak for you. And then my admin's like, no, you're already on this other side of the country. So that's not going to work. So, yes, but I'm glad we made it work. I have a bone to pick with you. Mm-hmm. When you came to my city, okay, Dallas was warm and beautiful. Okay, now
what
I
do you
came
mean
to
it's summer now?
No, sir. I died yesterday.
Wow.
I landed in Toronto and was like, I should just not get off the plane. I should just stay on this plane until it takes me right back home to Dallas where it's warm. It's 70 degrees there right now, which is like, I did the conversion. I think it's like low 20s. Mm-hmm. That's like summer weather right now. Yeah. And I'm in the freezing cold.
Well, you know what? You know what the secret is what you wear.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like stay slightly drunk, so you always have a beer jacket on.
No, but you know what? I felt that same way because I'm from Latin America.
Yeah, this is crazy.
I remember coming to Canada, and the most romantic thing about it is the snow.
Is that the word?
When I was a kid, you'd watch snow on television.
Okay, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you have like the Christmas movies or whatnot.
Yes.
And there's always like my Christmas, like my kids, they don't know a Christmas without snow.
Sure.
Right? That's how I kind of grew up, without snow.
Right.
Christmas tree, it's a palm tree, it's all good.
Yeah.
And now, when coming as a kid, so I came, as a kid, and, I was like so excited to see snow. And then that wears off.
Yeah, it loses its charm so fast.
But if you're well dressed,
yes.
If you have a good coat, you probably don't even own a good coat.
I don't, but I wore like 17 layers because I knew I didn't have a good coat.
Okay, good.
And I still didn't expect it to be this cold.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Okay, I don't think I will because I'll probably leave before I get used to it. But the summers here are amazing.
You've been in Toronto before?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, many times. So I grew up in Chicago. But I was talking to someone and they were like, it's kind of like a muscle, and if you don't use it, you lose it. And I've lost my cold muscle now because I haven't lived in Chicago for like 15 years.
I would think it's similar. Toronto and Chicago.
Yeah, but I haven't lived there for 15 years.
Yeah,
so I don't know how to be cold anymore like this. I can't live my life like this.
Well, Dallas is a beautiful city. I went to watch basketball. Mm-hmm. I went to the restaurants, so it was a lot of fun when we were there. And, I was inspired by your talk. I always want to bring as many inspiring people to meet our members, and, you're one of those people.
Thank you.
$1 billion in transactions.
Yes.
And, You've been around, and when it comes to raising capital, I think you can bring a lot of value to the table.
Thank you.
So how did you get started? Like where did this come about?
Yeah. Well, I did not start out by saying I'm going to do $1 billion in multifamily transactions. Mm-hmm. That was not. I didn't actually even think someone like me could own multifamily. I thought it was for Jeff Bezos, Oprah, the Rockefeller. Like, I didn't think it was for the Veena Jettis of the world. So I started in single family, like probably most people do. And I started buying single family homes. There was a week where I put 5 houses under contract.
So you were a go-getter from the beginning.
Yeah, I everything I do in my life, I want it to be big. I don't want to do anything small. It's not
Live
exciting.
life all out.
Yeah, like you got to play full out all the time. And so I wanted it to be big. And at the time, it didn't feel like 5 houses was a big deal in a week because it's the hazard of being around successful and ambitious people, right? They're doing 100 houses or they're doing this commercial deal or whatever it is. And so I was like, oh, yeah, okay, 5 houses. I was like, but wait, I cannot own 5,000 doors like this or 10,000 or 100,000. Like I couldn't even dream of that because 5 houses a week was a slow burn, right? It's like 250 houses a year on your best weeks, right? And but I loved residential real estate, and I loved it because I felt like it was recession resistant. You always need a place to live.
Everyone's going to have to live somewhere.
Forever, yes. And I loved that. And I loved the idea of revitalizing communities where people live to add value, upgrade amenities, upgrade just homes for people. I felt like that was something that was really important. And I wanted to maintain that, but I also wanted to do it in a big way at scale, which is where multifamily kind of came into the picture. So bought my first multifamily deal. I had a partner who approached me and was like, hey, do you want to buy this multifamily asset with me? It was in Dallas. And I was like, sure, what could go wrong? Famous last words, let me say that. So I bought, it was 200 doors. It was $15.9 million.
So let's just pause right there. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, pause me.
But we have singles.
Yes,
so you got
had a bunch of singles.
A handful of singles.
Yep.
And then someone says, let's go into this 200 unit apartment building.
Yes.
And so, that is like
jump.
A massive jump.
Yes.
And a mindset. Like you have to kind of, expand your mindset a lot, going from the singles to the multifamily. Now you go to 200 units.
Yeah.
And so how did you do that?
How? I'm not entirely sure. Why? Because I apparently had no sense of what could actually go wrong, which is literally everything. Now, this was also in a time when the market was really great. Getting my mindset there, I'll say this, looking back, I don't think I invested in my mind. I know I didn't invest in my mindset as much as I should have and wish I would have. And had I done that back then, I think I would have crossed the $1 billion mark way sooner than I actually did. It wasn't until I started being more intentional about working on my mindset and getting proper mindset coaching. I work with a woman by the name of Rosie Noel, and I was just saying upstairs in the capital raising room, I try to coach with her 5 days a week now. And I don't get her all 5 days, but at least 3 times a week, I start my day off coaching with her. And she helps me frame what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I'm showing up, why I'm having reactions to the things I'm having, or why I'm afraid of certain things. And she really helps me unlock that potential and what that next level is for me. And she does something around, do you know what the Clifton Strengths assessment is? Have you heard of this?
It sounds familiar.
It used to be called Strengths Finder, like way back in the day. So it's
finding like skill sets.
Yes, but it's the best one out there. And I've done all of them because I love stuff like that. But this one is specifically backed by Gallup, which is a multi-billion-dollar research company. So it's like very much studied. It's a science. It's not just like, oh, I'm sitting at my kitchen table and let me put this together, right? And so what the Clifton Strengths Assessment does is Gallup has said there are 34 major themes that everybody has some variation or combination of. And so you take the assessment, I take the assessment. We're still going to have all 34 the same, but they'll be in different orders, which is the intensity of the strength that shows up. And you only have to do it one time after you're 19 years old. You only have to do it really one time. And so I did mine years ago.
Is this like something you find online?
Yeah. So if you go to her website, you can definitely find it there.
What's the name of it?
It's called Clifton Strengths Assessment.
Sam, can you write that down for me?
Yeah, Clifton Strengths Assessment. And I'll connect you to her. She's incredible.
That's really interesting.
It's so good. It changed my whole entire life. Like, completely changed my life. If someone asked me, what is one thing you would do today? It's go get your Clifton Strengths Assessment and then go do an intro coaching session with Rosie, because she will help you interpret it and understand it. I always call it like our business psychic readings is what I call it, because it just goes so deep and there's so many new things, and the more time you spend in it, the more powerful it becomes. It's kind of like AI in that way, right? Like once you fall down the rabbit hole, if you keep going, it gets more powerful and better and better and better. So the 34, right? My number 1 is competition. My number 2 is communication, and my number 3 is winning others over. And these
you mean by competition, it's like if there's like a game attached to it,
everything.
Yeah.
Anything in my life, my competition shows up. And now that I know that this is my top strength, and now that I can recognize it, I can see when it comes out. So, for example, if I'm like, oh, I was the first one here, that might be my first thought about something where it's not even a competition, but my competition is so strong. It is. Everything is a competition for me, right? But I'm married to someone who is very low competition. He does not care about this at all, which works out really well for me because I get to win all the time. But his number 1 is harmony. So, and I'm like number 30 harmony. I'm like very low harmony. But that means like he leads with a different skill set, which is keeping the peace in the house, which makes sense when you look at our lives, because I'm always competing with everybody. And he's like, yes, babe, you won. You were amazing. Good job. So it's like the balance, and we're like the exact opposites of each other. So we get along really well, but it's even helped me in my relationship too, because I'm high strategic, which means like I can see how all the pieces move together and I can make those assessments quickly. My husband, I love this man so much, but he sometimes just drives me up a wall with his inability to like strategically think about all the problems that might come up. And I was talking to Rosie about it, and I was like, yeah, like I don't know how to get him to have this foresight. She's like, hang on. And she like pulls out his chart, and she's like, yeah, this makes total sense. He's high harmony, meaning he wants to keep the peace all the time, but he's low strategic, so he can't see things the way you see them. So for him, he needs to come to you to help develop that plan, because that's your skill set and your strength. So it's like knowing and understanding what the strength is and how it's showing up, and being able to see when it shows up as a weakness and how to leverage it as a strength have completely changed the game for me.
Yeah, it almost sounds like love languages.
It is.
For entrepreneurs.
It is. It is love languages for entrepreneurs, and it goes like so far, so much deeper, right? Because like there's the DISC assessment that everyone talks about, right?
Yeah, the personality types.
Yeah, or like I'm an ENTJ or whatever. The Myers-Briggs was developed by someone literally at her kitchen table. There's no science backing it. It's not research. Gallup is actually research. So if you go to the Rosie Noel or rosienoel.com, she's the Rosie Noel on Instagram, but if you go to rosienoel.com, you can get your Clifton Strengths assessment. It takes like 20 minutes. Do it in your first language. So I have someone and I make everyone that comes into my community do their strengths assessment first, because it helps me guide them with how they're going to raise capital, how they're going to do their deal, how they're going to partner, how you're going to partner with each other. So I have them do that. And there's one community member, her name's Miriam, and Spanish is her first language. And Miriam is 100% blue. So there's 4 domains. They're each different colors. I'm orange, which is influencing. My husband's green, which is strategic thinking. There's purple, which is executing, and then blue, which is relationship building. Miriam is as blue can be. And I knew this just from knowing her, right? Like she's active and present in the community. She takes her test and she comes in and she's like, oh yeah, I lead with green, strategic thinking. And I was like, no, you don't. She was like, yes, I do. So I call Rosie up and I'm like, Rosie, Miriam's test came back as green. There's a mistake in the test. And she's like, Veena, how could you possibly know that there's a mistake in the test? Like, that's pretty cocky of you to say. I'm like, no, I'm telling you 100% she is blue. And so I'm like, Miriam, I need you to retake this in Spanish, because she was translating the questions, and it's always slower when you translate.
And the other thing is certain words, if you literally
they don't
translate
work.
them,
Yes,
they have a completely different meaning.
Yes,
in,
and
in
then
Spanish.
also depending on like the context they're being used in. So yes, absolutely.
In cultural, there's cultural,
Yes.
like a cultural background to it.
Yes,
you know?
100%.
Being a Latino person, I know that there's things that are very English oriented.
Yes.
Versus in terms of culture.
Yes.
Versus Spanish.
Yeah.
Right, and that could throw off all the results.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So she redoes her test, and she comes back, and Rosie's like, she's like, I'm going to say this to you, but I know your competition's already in overdrive, but she is as blue can be. And I was like, yes, okay, thank you. Now my world makes sense again. But that's how accurate these tests are, is once you start spending time in it and understanding it, you can like spot these traits that come out. Like Rosie and I were at another event where we both spoke, and this guy comes up to her and he's like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and introduced himself. She's like, oh, hi, command. And he's like, how did you know that? She's like, you like were really direct. You looked me in the eyes. There's a presence when people have high command. They have a presence about them. And I was like, pull out your results. So he pulls out his results, and he's like, number 4 command. And I was like, wow, I can't believe you could do that. But it's like such a superpower. It's such a gift when you know what your own talents are, because it gives you permission to be who you are.
And then you can double down on those.
Exactly. And that's a really big basis of the Clifton Strengths, is you don't try to strengthen your weaknesses. You develop strategies leveraging your strengths to overcome the lesser strengths that you have. So for me, like deliberation is bottom for me. Harmony is bottom. I'm very low consistency. So all of those things being at the very bottom means they're just naturally not going to come to me. But I can be consistent if I create a strategy around it using my strengths. Like maybe everything, I think of everything as a competition. Like if I don't do this, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to be the best, right? So that for me has been really life-changing in being able to operate at a higher level. So the long way to answer your question of, I did not invest into mindset as much as I should have. And had I done that, I probably would have had a lot easier time on my first deal than I did, because it was really tough. I cried myself to sleep every night.
Wow.
For 6 weeks straight. I thought I ruined my family's financial future because I thought we weren't going to close a deal. I thought no one was going to give me the money, because I kept trying and I got so many no after no after no after no after no. I was feeling defeated.
Yeah.
And had I invested into my mindset, I could have used different strategies to get me there faster.
Well, the philosophy that I follow is expansion.
Yes.
You know, always be in expansion. You're either expanding or contracting,
Yep.
but you're not doing both.
No.
And you know, the conference that we built is called the Expand Conference for that reason.
Yeah.
And you know, taking these leaps. And to me, I'm not interested in the end result. I'm interested in the human experience of how they did, how did they do that, right? So you went from a handful of single families to now 200 units, and so that's a massive expansion that's going to make you uncomfortable. That's going to make you cry at night, and all of that is part of it. Like you're growing, you're being fulfilled at that moment in time. So I love that.
Yeah, it was definitely more challenging than I thought it was going to be, because when I went into it, I thought it was going to be like, oh, okay, it's just like doing 200 single family homes.
At the same time.
Yeah, 100% was not. There's nothing that'll humble you quicker than going into a big deal before you're ready. But I learned a lot. And after I did that very first deal, I was able to do another deal and then another and then another. And I was able to continue expanding because I took that first step. If I didn't do that, I probably would still be investing in single family.
Well, there's an adrenaline rush component to it, right? That. And I feel it every time I'm doing something that is completely out of my comfort zone, and I say, please, God, just let me get through this one, and I swear I'm going to slow down. I'm not going to do another deal for a while. I swear. And then you go through it, and it's like all the ups and downs and everything, and it closes, it is done, and then you want it again.
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
it is. It's addictive.
Yeah.
It's addictive. Once you get bitten by the bug, it's hard to get rid of it.
And I see that. I see that. And so you've built this portfolio, and you kind of became the expert in raising capital. How did that come about?
Yeah. Okay. So how did I become an expert in raising capital? I think it's just by having done it as much as I have, right? Like, we've now raised somewhere north of $375 million, $400 million.
Just
375 million. It's funny because when I'm around my network of friends, and what happens is as you get to like new levels of success, your friend circle kind of upgrades with you. So you always kind of feel like you're not really doing that much. And it always takes someone else pointing it out to you and being like, just what do you mean, right? And it's so funny because I do this for other people. Like when I speak on a stage and then they'll come talk to me after, they'll be like, oh, I'm just a single family investor. I only own 2 homes. And I'm like, that is more than most people on the face of the planet will ever do. You're just privileged enough to be in these really big rooms where you're like a small fish in a big pond.
And that's where you want to be consistently.
Always. I always want to be the dumbest person in any room I'm in because that's how I learn and that's how I grow. But it's also challenging to see how far you've come if you don't stop and intentionally look for it. And a lot of times that's triggered by an outside party saying, hey, wait, do you know that you did all of this? That's a lot.
Yeah.
And so for me, I started raising capital on that very first multifamily deal I did. And oh my gosh, I didn't know what I didn't know. I really didn't. So there's 4 stages of learning, right? You have unconscious incompetence, which is where I started. And that's like, I just don't know what I don't know. And you know, Rosie has coached me with thinking about it like a car, like you're driving a car, right? So you're getting in a car for the first time, you've never driven, and you're like, okay, I don't know what any of this is, and I don't know that there are more things for me to know. I don't know what the expanse of my not knowingness is, right? And then you start driving and you get into conscious incompetence, which is the second stage of learning. And that's like, okay, now I'm aware that there are a lot of things I don't know, which is kind of where I went after my first deal. I was like, oh, okay, there's a lot of things I didn't know, and there's a lot of things I still don't know, but I'm aware that I don't know them now. And then you start driving more, and you're like, okay, I know there's a stop sign coming up, so I need to start braking like 20, 30 feet before I get there. I know that I need to turn my signal on if I want to make a right so that all the other drivers, so that's conscious competence. Like you can think about it and you can do it. And I was there for a long time when I was doing multifamily. Like,
you almost get into like autopilot.
Yeah. Well, and that's the 4th stage, right? Is when you get into autopilot. This is called unconscious competence. And so I'm there now, right? If you ask me, hey, how do you pitch to investors? Like, what's your elevator pitch? I can do it because I've done it 1 million times before this. And what people don't see a lot of times is all of the hard work and all of the failure and all of the blood, sweat, and tears that went in along the way to get to this $1 billion in transactions. And I think a lot of times people just see the success part of it and they're like, oh my gosh, you've done all this amazing stuff. I'm like, yeah, it only took me over a decade to be an overnight success, right?
Nice.
Like people don't see that part of it. So, you go through the 4 stages of learning. I certainly have done that. I'm always doing that because just as I conquer something and I get into autopilot or my unconscious competence, I'm like, oh, well, there's a whole new skill set I can learn. And so I go back and I start back at the bottom and go through those steps again. Like right now I'm in an AI rabbit hole where I would say I'm in conscious incompetence right now. So I'm learning a lot about it and I'm aware that there's a lot more I don't know, but I'm getting better every day that I do it.
Yeah, love it. What would you say if someone's listening here? Because our audience is split up many different types of people. People are just curious. People have already been doing this for a while. But what would be your top advice for someone that's looking to raise capital if they're starting now?
Oh gosh. Okay. I have so many things. Okay. So first few tips, right? It is going to be hard. So just accept that out of the gate. You can choose the discomfort of growing or the discomfort of being right where you are right now. both are going to be uncomfortable. You have to choose which one you prefer, right? Time is going to keep moving whether or not you take action or you take steps forward. It's going to keep moving. You're going to be, 30 years old. You're going to be 40 years old. You're going to be 50 years old. You might as well be 50 years old doing something that you love or that you like doing or that you've mastered or you've chosen intentionally, right? So it's always about choosing your discomfort, and doing nothing is a choice. A lot of people think that that's inaction is not a choice. It is a choice, and you are choosing to stay where you are, and you're choosing not to grow, and know that the people around you that are going to be successful and that are choosing to grow, they're not going to stick with you very long, because they need to be around people who are also investing in their own selves and their own future and that are consistently growing. People want to be around people who help them. So the first thing I would say is you have to make a very conscious decision. The second thing I will say is if you raise capital, you will never sleep the same ever again, because now you have someone else's money, and that's a responsibility you cannot take lightly. The first thing you do, if you're even thinking about raising capital, is reach out to your securities attorney. I work with, I don't know if do you know Nick McGrew?
No.
Okay, so I work with him. He's based out of LA. He's been my securities attorney forever and ever and ever. I think I've been working with him for like 15 years now, so it's been a long time. He does a lot of the Canadian funds too, so that's why I thought maybe you would know him. He does a lot of the cross-U.S. Canadian funds. But call him, right, and tell him, hey, this is what I want to do. And the reason you have to call him first is because a lot of times you'll follow someone on social media who's like,
and you're doing what they're doing.
Don't do that. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you the number of times I see someone go, oh, this is what you do. And I'm like, no, this is a violation. And I'll call them out on it. I'll say like, hey, and not in like a mean way, right? Like I'll send them a message and be like, hey, I saw you say this and I have concerns because I think this is a violation of the broker-dealer rule. And that's my nice way of saying you're teaching people to do things unlawfully. But I think also because I'm a woman, I get dismissed a lot. So I'm like very like coy about how I say it. And they're like, oh, she's dumb. She doesn't know what she's talking about. So I'll be like, this is a loophole. And I'm like, it's not a loophole. This is not a loophole. It is black and white. So I do see that a lot. It's very dangerous. It's hard because people have platforms and it's the marketing game on social media. It's whoever can get the most likes and views and followers that gets the most attention, but it's not always the best for people. So that's why I say always reach out to your securities attorney first. They will tell you what you can and can't do, right?
Well, the thing about OPM, you know, it's become a gimmick.
It is.
And you don't want to play with other people's money.
No.
This is people's retirement.
Yes. Their
this is your mom, your aunt,
yes.
all that. And so, you don't want to take that lightly.
No.
You don't want to play fast and loose with someone else's money.
100%.
Yeah. And so that's a big part of the philosophy that we have here. It's like, look, it's fun to raise capital, but number one, it's got to be backed up by a strong deal.
Yes.
And we don't play games here.
No.
Right?
Yep.
I often screenshot things I see on Facebook.
Yep.
People from our community, and then I send it. I'm like, make sure that this person's aware, because sometimes just people are unaware. They just, again, like you said, they watch somebody else doing something. You got Grant Cardone saying this, but he's got lawyers. Like
he's got a team.
He's got a team that's saying exactly what to say, how to say it, and so
exactly
the average person may not be aware.
Exactly, and also, he's a great example. He raises on a Reg A exemption. Most of us don't raise on Reg A exemptions because they don't fit most of our needs, which is again why you need your securities attorney first. So I'd say that's like the very first thing. Once you have your fund structured properly, you're doing everything lawfully, you're following SEC rules, then when you go out there, what I always tell people is people invest with people they know, like, and trust. And the way to build trust is by doing the thing you say you're going to do. So if you're trying to invest with me and I say, hey, I don't really know the answer to that, right? Or let me find out and come back to you. I'll let you know by tomorrow. By tomorrow, there better be communication with you because that's going to build trust. If I don't communicate, probably nothing happens. Maybe you don't invest, but you don't trust me. It's my opportunity to prove trust with you. And I do that sometimes, actually. If I'm sensing that someone I'm talking to needs to see trust from me, I will give myself an action item for me to do and perform for them so that I can perform on it and build that trust with them. Even if you didn't really ask me for it, right? I'll look for an opportunity to say, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to introduce you to, I told you I'll introduce you to Rosie. I'm going to leave here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to Rosie. That's going to build more trust between us because you're going to be like, oh, Veena said the thing and then she did the thing. Wow, I can really rely on her.
Track record.
Exactly. It's a small way to build an instant track record, and it's low hanging fruit, and anyone can do it. So always do what you say you're going to do. And let's say I couldn't introduce you to Rosie because her email is down. Okay, I'm making this up, but let's say that were the case. Then I'm going to come back to you and say, hey, I know I owed you an intro to Rosie. I just want to let you know her email keeps bouncing back to me. I'm working on getting it for you. By next week, you're going to have this. And then I'm going to come back and do that. But now I've communicated with you why it's not happening. And that's the most important thing that anybody can take away. Deliver good news fast and bad news faster. You have to do this when you have investors. And a lot of people don't. And I get it. It's scary to tell investors bad news or bad news. The faster you do it, the more trust you build and the more credibility you build with your investors, because everyone runs into things that we weren't expecting. It's just the nature of being an entrepreneur and being in real estate. So that is going to happen. It's how you handle it that matters more.
The way someone does anything is
the way they do everything.
Is the way they'll do everything.
That's what we say too.
What inspires you?
So right now, I'm getting ready to do goal setting for next year. I haven't done it yet, so I haven't narrowed in on it. But right now, the thing that I am the most passionate about is changing the way it's always been done and rewriting the rules. I don't like that my daughters, when they are old enough to have careers and go out into the world, I don't like that they are going to feel like they don't belong in those rooms. They belong there and they deserve to be there. And so I want to change the game. I want to make sure that women, minorities, people not from Ivy League backgrounds, people from different socioeconomic pathways, I want to make sure that we have diversity and inclusivity and representation at the highest levels. And so for me, it is pouring into my community, connecting with people doing their very first deals. For me, it is so much more rewarding. People think that I was so excited to celebrate crossing $1 billion, and it was exciting. It's an accomplishment. I'm proud of it. It is nowhere near as fulfilling to me as someone who otherwise would have had no chance to do the things I've done, taking their first step to doing that. There's a young man by the name of Yannik in my community. He came to this country as an immigrant from Africa. By himself, he came to this country, and he is 23 years old. And the very first time I met him, earlier this year, actually, he said, okay, Veena, what's the fastest someone in your community has done a deal from the day they joined to the time they got their first deal under contract? And I said, multifamily is a slow game. So I think it's about 6.5, 7 months. And he said, I'm going to beat them. He's high competition too, by the way. So he's like, I'm going to beat them. I'm waiting for my work permit to come through. It should be here in the next month. And then I'm going to beat them. And I said, Yannik, I hope you do. That would be amazing. The way that Yannik worked and kept his eye on the prize and was relentless toward it, he came back to me about 2.5 or 3 months after he got his work permit and said, Veena, I have 86 units under contract. And he's closing it. Actually, this week is this coming week is his closing week. And I'm like, okay, if you can be all by yourself in this country, you came here with no safety net, really, right? You decided you wanted to do this, and all you did was keep moving forward and focus and get through all of the hardship that will come with any deal. Man, if I had done that at 23 years old, do you know where I would be today? And for me, that is the purpose of what I do now. Because this one person in his family tree, he is going to change the entire trajectory of every generation to come, all because he made one decision different than people before him. And to me, that's special. And that's the thing that really lights me up. And that's the thing I'm passionate about. So my goals for this year are really to help more Yanniks get to their first deal. Like 86 doors at 23. Who knew?
That's a great way to get started.
For real. Like, what was I doing at 23? I actually cannot talk about what I was doing at 23 years old.
Well, thank you for coming on the pod,
you.
and looking forward to watching all of your talks and everything that you're going to do with us. And you'll be back for sure.
I hope so.
I'm telling you, you're going to be back.
Can it be in the summer?
Next time will be summer. Will be summer.
Okay, there we go. Then I'm in.
Okay, so that's it. Alfonso loves you. We'll see you at the top. Woo!